what we can do as citizens to try to help our seniors in our community not to be taken advantage of in whatever we can do. So one of the objectives with our group is education, that we, through our meetings and through working with each other, we get to know some of the issues that are out there for our seniors and see what we can do to help them in different ways. We also have a network of resources, some of which specialize in helping seniors. So we're able to then, if we see a need or hear about a need, we know who to call. If you're new to the world of working with seniors, maybe you see that there's something that's not right. Somebody needs some help, but you just have no idea who to call to get advice or who to get help with that particular issue. Well, with our group here, I can call Robin and probably get some really good answers about what do I do? I see this situation. Who should I call? Or I could call Carrie or others who have been in the senior industry for a very long time and know who I should touch base with. So the general meeting is once a month. We meet together, and currently on Zoom. Hopefully in the near future, we'll be doing at least a hybrid model where we'll be able to have a certain group that's comfortable meeting physically, but probably we'll have a Zoom model connected to that because it's so convenient also for us to be able to meet. If we're out of town or traveling or the time slot doesn't work, we'll be able to at least tap in, hear the program, present ourselves. If you guys would, open the chat box and enter your contact information so that all of us would be able to download the chat at the end of the meeting. That's kind of our version of sharing business cards, because we're not together and we can't hand each other a business card. Then if you just type in your name, your cell phone, your business, so that at the end of this meeting, if any of you want to call or text the others, look up the website, you'll be able to easily just download and if you're not familiar with that, you can go under the chat and do save chat. It saves it on your hard drive under the Zoom folder somewhere. You should be able to find it. And then it's just a text file. It'll have everybody's chat in there, which will be their cell phone and their info. Okay, so I'd like to start by then introducing the board. I'm the president of Golden Providers, and Robin is the treasurer. Correct me if I'm wrong on my titles, because we've had different titles through the years. And Carrie is our secretary. Is that right, Carrie? You're our secretary.
I think that's right.
Okay. I know he's a member of the board, helping out a lot with the website, the invitations, and we definitely appreciate all the work you do there. And then we also have a member of the group, and her name is Ashley Caswell, and she's on vacation this week. She helps us a lot with the media and a lot of other support for the board. So have I missed anybody on the board? That's the current board, right? I believe it is. Okay. If I've missed anybody, I apologize. I'll make sure to get them for next meeting. Okay, so today's meeting, everyone who is in attendance will have an opportunity to present themselves and introduce themselves. And then we're going to listen to a video of, or watch a video of a program that we did, an educational program that was called Fraud Prevention 101. And that is our state attorney, Phil Archer, who was at an event that we hosted, which was covering, it was one of our meetings where we were trying to put together an educational program, and it was the section on fraud prevention. So hopefully you find that interesting. And then I've asked one of our newer members to give us a little more in-depth, a few more minutes. Is that okay, James? You're going to give us a few extra minutes as a spotlight introduction, since some of you probably don't know James that well. Let's see. So I'm going to hand it over to Robin. Robin, are you going to handle our introduction segment?
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is the third part in a series to just give a little bit more of a targeted introduction. And so as you, I think it makes most sense, Tom, you can see all of the attendees Unfortunately, I'm operating on a phone because my computer's in the middle of a backup. So you've got a lot more control than I can on this phone today. But what I'd like you to do as you introduce yourself is I've got just a little meeting stimulant kind of thing for you to incorporate into your introduction. And this series that we've been doing is recognizing and acting on referrals. And so just a good networker in general has 2 ears and 1 mouth, but it takes a little skill sometimes to realize how to use those proportionately. And so in your introduction, while you tell us about your business and about the services you provide, see if you can identify some items that a Golden Providers member might smell, see, or come across to make them think of you and your company. So I'll start off. My name is Robin Feemister. I'm a professional guardian and case manager and VA fiduciary. We work with clients either as a guardian when we're appointed by the court to assist our clients in managing their financial, social, and medical affairs, or independently with case management. Something that you may see or smell is where I will focus, because oftentimes most of our clients are elderly. Maybe they've been living at home. There are some obvious signs of self-neglect, possibly wearing the same clothes over and over, day after day. They're maybe losing some cognitive ability to recognize that they have other wardrobe options. Maybe hygiene is a problem, and that's where smell may be a factor. So possibly smells of urine or body odor. It doesn't mean they can't live independently. It doesn't mean they can't make their own decisions, but it might just mean that a little extra help will help them to remain independent, remain living at home, but possibly with a little more support. So those would be great referrals for me.
All right. Thank you, Robin. Let's see. Carrie, what do you do?
So I'm Kerry. I do the media and marketing with the Helping Seniors of Brevard organization. As you know, we're the 10-year operating provider of the county senior information helpline. So that's a free call for seniors throughout Brevard County, and they get to speak with Kim Bernard, our education specialist. We do our best to connect seniors to resources that will be helpful. As you know, for those of you that have followed along the way, we get calls from people with all sorts of needs, medical, legal, financial. We also publish a tremendous amount of material, hopefully designed to help you with your aging plan. So it's helping seniors of Brevard.org. And in a few moments, you'll get to meet my compatriot, Rick Broderick, who is the executive director. So we'll hear a little bit more about helping seniors as well.
All right. Well, we won't make you wait. How about Rick? Tell us what you do and what would be a good referral for you and your organization, Rick.
Yeah, I'm very new to the organization, having just started a little over a month ago. In my second month, not quite done with that yet, but I'm still learning the organization, and it's a tough organization to fully get the breadth and depth of, but I'm getting there, I think. It's one that we really do try to help find resources for seniors. And, I've in the past worked as director of risk management at lots of different companies, including L3 Harris right here in town. Obviously before it was L3 Harris, when it was just Harris. But I'm retired from the stressful side of the executive world, and now just trying to see how I can, quote, give back a little bit. So we just try to reach out, and I'm excited about that. And Kerry and staff have been just wonderful to try to get to know the organization.
Sounds good. Well, we look forward to getting to know you more and working with you in the future. Sounds good. Okay, so Gail, what's a good referral for you?
A great referral for me would be someone who might need home care, who would like to stay at home. We provide transportation, hospice support. We also do personal care, meals and nutrition. And I would have to say I'm going to concentrate on the C part of it. And, you know, you might see a family member that's dealing with Alzheimer's, dementia, and they need a break. They get worn out. They need to refresh. It's rough. So we can have one of our caregivers come in and relieve them so they can refresh and come in new again. So that's an option for home instead as well. So yeah, anything that would pertain to staying home after an operation or being discharged from the hospital, or wanting to be able to stay in your home as long as you can with a little bit of extra help. That would be a great referral for me.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How about you, Joe?
Yes, good morning. So I'll just do a brief introduction and I will use a visual as well. So Joe Rowlett, I'm with Florida Healthcare Plans. We are a regional HMO, and we kind of roll up to a larger Florida Blue product. So let me move myself. So the bird is us. So a lot of times you'll see our logo right next to the Blue Cross Blue Shield logo. And people say, oh, you're Florida Blue or you're Blue Cross Blue Shield. We kind of are, but we really aren't. We're independent. So the bird is us. So I always tell our members, look for the bird. That's Florida Healthcare Plans. We actually are the second oldest HMO. Back in the 70s, some doctors out in California, Kaiser Permanente, started the original HMO. And then a couple of years later in Daytona Beach, Florida, it was carried over to start the second true HMO. So we've been doing it for almost 50 years now. So our biggest referral source would be anyone looking for a Medicare plan. You know, we do 3 lines. We do under 65, we do group, but Medicare is really, you know, kind of where we shine and kind of what we're looking for. So anyone looking for affordable health care, you know, we are on the Affordable Care Act, but we also have a really great senior program with our Medicare lives. And again, if the Florida Healthcare Plan doesn't work, then we have Florida Blue as well. And that's our sister company. So it gives you a lot of different options to choose from. All right. Well, and thanks for having me. I'm glad I was able to join the group today.
All right. Thank you for coming. Mark? Hey, Mark.
Yes. Let me step in. Hi. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And I was just about to send a message that I have to leave.
Oh,
and
okay.
I do business consulting and real estate. And what I'm finding in this community, as I am relatively new to the Palm Bay Brevard community, loving it tremendously, I am working with so many different groups and working with so many now veterans. And this senior population among the veterans is interesting and exciting and a different culture. As you see with the Chamber of Commerce, I'm part of the Multicultural Diversity Committee. I'm co-chair of that committee. Culture covers so many aspects of our lives, life around the world, the changing paradigm that we are in. I want to work with this rapidly growing and quickly influx of seniors to Florida. As I do business, I'm finding seniors who are interested in doing business. They're not interested in coming to the end of their lives. They're interested in starting a new phase in their life. Those are good referrals for me. These are exciting people. At the chamber, for instance, I'm working with a gentleman who is, I think he's 78 years old. He just started a business where he's roasting coffee. And he's at all of the farmers markets everywhere in Brevard. He's full of energy and quickly tells everybody that he is Sicilian and his coffee is coming from the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, and he's making deals. He and I meet regularly. There's energy in the senior population. A good referral for me is to work with those high energy seniors. Plus, I'm also an outdoorsman, and if you can't tell, somewhat of a farmer. My wife and I do this urban farming, and we have a huge number of plants. She happens to be from China, and so we have a lot of Chinese lettuce and bok choy and other types of Chinese vegetables growing out there, so that we don't even need to go to the farmer's market. She wants to sell our products to the farmer's market. I can help seniors in their homes to touch the earth, grow some plants, enjoy the urban farming that is, I believe, a trend, but a useful trend in this community and every community. Those are referrals for me.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for coming. Where are you from originally, Mark?
I'm originally from, you would call it Belen, New Mexico. Okay.
Oh.
I grew up, I'm part Native American, although I don't appreciate that term, part of the Native original nations.
Oh.
My grandfather grew up on the reservation, was born and raised on the reservation. We grew up outside the reservation. I grew up in a community mainly of very old Spaniards who arrived in the New World with the Duke of Albuquerque and the native people just outside the reservation.
Wow.
So that history in New Mexico, just south of Albuquerque. Albuquerque is named after El Duque de Albuquerque, which is the Duke of Albuquerque that arrived in 1540 and settled.
Interesting.
One of the original Spanish land grants was the Gallegos land grant. And I tell this jokingly, that the Spaniards and the Catholic Church came to the New World and they forgot to bring something.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it.
They forgot to bring something. Women.
Oh,
So
interesting.
we are of mixed blood.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Interesting.
Okay,
We look
I've got
forward
to
to
run.
getting to
Thank
know
you.
you more.
Okay, I look forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So, James, what do you do? What's a good referral for you?
So I am my name is James Pugh. I'm a principal agent and owner of an insurance agency called Simple Health Advisors. We are a full health agency. We do Medicare insurance. We do IFP or Obamacare, as some know it. And we also do life insurance and some basically retirement planning, where we offer annuities. We offer long-term care policies. But a big portion of also what we do is help seniors who don't realize that there is help for persons who have low income or lower income to receive help paying for things like prescription drugs. There's all types of different programs out there through Medicare, Social Security, through the local, through the state governments that we help people find as well. So a good referral for me is anyone who you know that currently may have Medicare coverage, they're aging in, and who needs help choosing a plan. And I basically, as far as companies that I offer, anything that Joe doesn't offer.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. So I'm not sure, Ritu said she was on an important call that she had to take. So I don't know, are you available now, or we'll get you in as soon as you're done then, Ritu?
I am here, sorry.
No worries.
I do one thing and somebody stops in my office. And so I'm with Hibiscus Court. I'm the sales and marketing director. I'm trying to look at the camera. I'm not good at this stuff. So I don't know, the best referrals for me are people who are really at home and they need more care. Maybe they can't afford a home instead all the time, and moving to a community is cost effective. Maybe they just want more socialization and care. So that's kind of what we do here, and we do it extremely well. We've been doing it for 22 years, and my predecessors have really created an amazing community here. So those are the best referrals for me.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. And I'm Tom Toronto. I'm a real estate agent. So if you know of anybody that you notice it's come the time for them to downsize, that would be a good referral for me. We see it all the time on our appointments when we visit people. They recognize that this house is too big for me. It's too expensive, too much lawn maintenance, too much yard maintenance, too much pool maintenance. I got to worry about the roof and the windows and the exterior. And so someone who it's appropriate for them to downsize would be a very good referral for us. Their listing inventory of homes is lower than it's ever been before in history. I was showing the stats to Carrie before the meeting. We're basically just above 1 month of inventory. A balanced market is 6 months of inventory. During the recession, it was 9 months. We are just above 1 month of inventory, which means essentially most houses that are priced reasonably will get a contract on the first day of going on the market. So if you know of anybody who's not selling because of COVID or because they think that, it's kind of a chaotic world out there, unfortunately, it's kind of human nature that during the recession, when everybody should have been buying at these crazy low prices, people were not buying. Now, when they should truly be selling before anything changes, people are not throwing their house on the market. So, but the reality is it's probably the best time in the last 20 years to sell a property. So it's a great time to get a property sold if that's appropriate for someone that you know. And if you have any questions, myself and my team, we are not high pressure in any way. We want to help our clients. So we would gladly consult with whoever you refer to us, tell them the value of their property and what it's currently worth. I also am myself an investor. I work with an investor pool. So in some cases, we can make a cash instant offer and just close the property in a week. So if a very quick transaction is appropriate for the client, then we can also offer an instant cash offer for the person. Obviously, normally you get more through the normal listing and sale process, but we have other options available for our people. Again, I'm Tom Toronto from Keller Williams. Okay, so has everybody had a chance to present themselves? I always ask just in case my brain is fooling me and I had a conversation with somebody before the meeting and I think that I let them do their intro. So, okay, sounds good. So next on the agenda is the treasurer's report, and that is Robin Femister.
We currently have $247.17 in the account right now. The last year and a half or so now, we have waived membership fees. So that's the reason that the account is as low as it is. We have very, very few expenses. In fact, most of the money that we've paid out has been in the form of donations over the past several years. Maybe next year we'll look at building up the coffers and doing more with those funds. But we have a couple expenses that are anticipated this year. One is for the domain and hosting of the Golden Providers website, be roughly $95. And then the annual report will be filed this month. So that's a nominal fee for the nonprofit status. That's my report.
Okay. That sounds good. And membership renewals, I know, Carrie, that we are not charging for membership, but did you want to chime in on the membership renewals portion?
So as we had talked about, the board made the decision, since there really aren't any expenses in the organization, and particularly understanding everybody going through all that's been connected with COVID-19, to try to really kind of regroup and get, we want to invite you to invite your friends to be part of Golden Provider. If you're serious about doing business with seniors in this community and you want to do it ethically and correctly and responsibly and profitably, then this is a good organization because it's really designed for business to business. So you can go to the Golden Providers website, goldenproviders.org, and sign up for free. So the anticipation, because our friends Ritu and Ashley over at Hibiscus Court have always been generous hosts. Before COVID, for those of you that may remember, they hosted us every month with our meetings there. They provided our lunch and everything. So it's a great thing that we're all looking forward to getting back to as COVID clears. But we want you to be a member of this for a couple of reasons, so that you are connected with a body of resources that is committed to doing business with seniors in our community. And that's where the name originally came from, Golden Providers. So application form is right there. You can fill it out online, as I think several of you guys already did, and join the Golden Providers and get part of it this year. There's no charge to do so. So it's just literally, you got to go there and fill out the application.
Okay, sounds good. And so our presentation. So do we want to do the extra spotlight for James before the Phil Archer, or what are your thoughts?
It would seem that we have time for James.
Yep. Okay. So do you want to give us about 5 minutes, James? Just a little more about what you do?
Okay, I can do that. So basically, just a little bit about who we are. We've been in the insurance industry for a little over 15 years now. We have 4 members of our agency, and we're growing. We have agents here in Brevard County, Indian River, and St. Lucie County. But we actually conduct business in about 7 states. We do Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, Michigan, and Maine. We offer, as I mentioned earlier, we offer Medicare coverage, which includes Medicare supplements, the prescription drug plans, Medicare Advantage plans. We offer most companies in the area. We offer United Healthcare, Health First, Humana, Cigna, WellCare. We do not do Florida healthcare plans or Florida Blue because they have a captive contract. So when you offer those 2 companies, that's all you can offer. So we chose to go a different route. We also provide group coverage for small, medium, and large groups, as well as the individual plans, Obamacare, which is on everyone's minds right now because of the extra time period to enroll that's open. So we offer those as well in all of those states. We also do life insurance. So from term life, if you, some people do what they kind of consider them like burial policies, so to speak, or end of life expenses policies. We do whole life, universal life. There's a type of policy called Keyman policy, where if you are a business owner with a partnership and you want to put a policy to kind of cover your invested interest in your partner, we offer those. And then the retirement planning, again, getting back to seniors. So we offer long-term care policies, which have actually become more affordable lately. The underwriting on those has changed a bit, so they're more affordable. We offer annuities. If someone is retiring and they have a 401k somewhere and they don't know quite what to do with it, we can help with that. But also, as I mentioned before, we help persons. A big portion of our business is helping persons get on some of the assistance programs. So there's something out there we call LIS, or low income subsidy for persons. There's certain brackets based on whether you're married or single depending on what your financial situation is. You can get help paying for prescription drugs. And then there's other types of plans that are available to you for persons who may need transportation, getting to and from doctors or to and from the grocery store. They offer things that regular Medicare doesn't offer, like dental and vision coverage. So that's what we do, kind of in a nutshell. We try to be a one-stop shop for seniors and others as well. A lot of our customers, they come to us either when they were much younger as an individual client, and then we basically stay with them throughout their aging process, helping them with their different policies that they may need through life. So that's what we do. We really love what we do because it is a sales company, but it's the type of sale where you go to bed at night knowing that you help someone while also helping yourself. So that's what we do at Simple Health Advisors.
All right. Well, thank you, James. We appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to Fraud Prevention 101. Again, this is Phil Archer, the state attorney, and this was recorded at an event that we hosted a while back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tom. Just to give a little bit of a quick preamble or a preview. What Golden Providers has done in the past, and this is pre-COVID, we had embarked on an education program. So we've already done several series. We did one on downsizing, which is a great helping people understand all the things that go into that moment when you say, hey, it may be time to move from the home that I've lived in for all these years. And then we did another one called Fraud Prevention, where we actually brought in a banking expert. We had an online IT expert come in and talk about security tips. I think, Tom, you gave some tips about what you've experienced yourself in the real estate industry, how to prevent fraud on that level. And then Robin and Lisa, who are professional guardians and case managers, came in and gave some real good tips about, just staying safe and preventing fraud. All those things, this all happens in a fast-paced kind of a 1 hour in-person learning environment, but we also record those so that we can look at them later. And in fact, both of those seminars are available on the Golden Providers YouTube channel. So you just would go to YouTube and look up Golden Providers. You can see the whole thing, share it out. I think it's really good information. And the clip that we're going to look at today is from our state attorney, Phil Archer. And in particular, he was giving us some tips about how to keep ourselves safe through all this.
Fraud Prevention 101, the definitive guide to keeping you safe and sound, presented by Golden Providers. Golden Providers are top industry professionals in real estate, assisted living, senior care, and so much more. Visit us online at goldenproviders.com.
All right, well, thank you very much, and thank you to the Golden Providers. What a wonderful idea and service to our community. Prevention, education is really the biggest weapon that we have in trying to combat fraud and fighting those that would take advantage of most of the time our most vulnerable citizens, either seniors or someone that may be suffering from some mental issues and dementia and so forth. So what a wonderful idea to get together and share this information. And so I go out, and people from my office, we go out to as many of these kind of organizations or as many of these events as we can. And so it's really exciting to see not only that you all are here, but that they're taping this and make that available to other people. Because that's the key. It's really education and prevention. It's kind of a small group, but let me ask you, how many people in here, either themselves, a family member, a friend, that you know that has been scammed or ripped off or had some kind of identity theft or fraud? How many of us in this room? Yeah, look at this. I mean, wow, what are, almost 90, probably 90% of us in this room. That's amazing. It's amazing and frightening and disheartening probably all at the same time. But that's what we were seeing across the United States, not only just in Brevard County or in Florida, but across the United States. Now, unfortunately, Florida is usually number one or number two in fraud and scams that hit our state, and that's not something we're proud of. But we do have a large concentration of seniors in the state of Florida. We have nice warm weather. Today it's a little chilly, but it's going to be nice and sunny and beautiful. Well, I'd say chilly, right? Yeah, I know. It's a few degrees cooler. So, but at least, there's a lot of people come here to retire, and they bring with them money and savings, and so they're targets. So we have a lot of targets here in the state of Florida. And it's disheartening because when you look at crime stats across the United States, in Florida and across the United States, in Florida we're at a 49-year crime rate low. Violent crime is down, and that's the same across the United States. Most crime is down, violent crime is down, historic lows in most states, except for one area. Guess what? Scams and frauds. White-collar crimes geared towards these internet scams and identity thefts and so forth, those are way up. And why is that? Well, bad guys and bad girls, they're not stupid. Some of them are. We can usually catch the stupid ones, but they're not all stupid. And they know they do a risk-benefit calculation, and so they have figured out. We can rob a bank and get $10,000 or $20,000, and there's a lot of risk in that. You're going to have to carry firearms, and there's alarm buttons, and police are going to show up. And you rob a bank here in Brevard County, our sheriff, Wayne Ivey, or police chief, if it's in the city, they're going to investigate and come after you. It doesn't matter if you leave here and go to somewhere else. They're going to track you down and find you. But the bad guys have learned, we can, instead of doing that, why don't we get $1 from 20,000 people spread across the whole United States? What police agency is going to come after me? Probably none. It's almost impossible. So they've learned through the use of computers and phone calls and robocalls and all these different technologies that we have, and makes our lives easier in a lot of ways, but it also makes it easier for crooks. And so they have learned they can make so much more money with these scams with very little risk of getting caught. When people send money, by wiring money or mailing off checks or gift cards and all those things, most of the time you don't know who you sent it to. You might have a name, which we know that name is not going to be a real name. The address a lot of times are P.O. box or drop boxes that are usually hired or put together by under false identities and so forth. So once the money leaves here, once you send money to somewhere outside our area, it's pretty much gone. And I have to give that sad news to so many victims to say, once that money is gone, it's pretty much gone. We're not going to get it back. And that's not because local law enforcement doesn't care. They just don't have that kind of resources. They can't, when you wire money to Mexico or you wire money to Canada or you send money somewhere else, they don't have those resources to be able to go and conduct those investigations in other countries or in other states. It's just impossible. So that's why this is so important to get out and do these kind of seminars and events. And anyone out there that sees this video, you have an organization, I don't care if it's 10 people or 100 people, let us know, get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to come out and speak to your group as well, because I really do believe this is the way we have to do it. So let's talk a little. One of the things I like to do is try to talk about some of the current scams that we're seeing. And unfortunately, when I say current scams, they seem to be the same ones over and over and over again, but we see them rotating in and out. And we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'll just do a couple real brief ones, and then I'm going to have some handouts that will be available for you that we can talk about later. But one of the biggest ones that we continue to see is the family member in trouble, and that hits a lot of our seniors, a lot of our people. And it's, to me, it's probably the worst one out there, because a lot of scams are based on people's greed. I've got $40 million in a bank account. I just need somebody's bank account to put it in. Those kind of, oh my gosh, I'm going to get $40 million. So Those are kind of based on greed, right? You get ripped off. You should have known, right? The old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. The family member in trouble, though, is the one that bothers me so much. And we've had a lot of local people that have fallen for that. Even within my office, we had a lady that worked for us. Her husband was home, suffered from some dementia. And he got a phone call and said, hey, your grandson has been in a horrible accident in Mexico. He's going to die if he doesn't get an operation, and they won't take his insurance. And you need to wire, I think it was $1,500, $2,000 immediately, or he's going to die. So he goes down, he wires the money. And I got to tell you, some of the organizations, probably some in Golden Provider, some of the Walmart and Western Union and banks are getting really good at trying to keep people from wiring money to other countries. So a lot of those companies kudos to them. We've had so many cases where they've stopped the person and say, why are you wiring this money? Why are you sending money to Mexico? Or, and that's huge. And again, it goes towards that prevention and education. So anyway, he wired the money. Within a minute or a couple of minutes of that, one of the sons called and said, hey, what are you doing? And he said, I just wired money because so-and-so has been in a horrible accident. No, Dad, he hadn't been in a horrible accident. He's in New York or something like that. And they were able to go back, and the money had not been picked up yet, and they were able to cancel that, which is very unusual. Usually by the time you wired that money, it's gone. But they were able to cancel it, get the money back. And 30 minutes later, he gets a phone call and says, hey, why didn't you wire the money? Your grandson's going to die. And he said, no, it's a scam. I know it's a scam now. I've been told, blah, blah, blah. They hang up. 15 minutes later, they get another phone call. Hi, this is the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. We just want to let you know this is not a scam and blah, blah, blah. That is the links that they will go to kind of carry that off. And you're thinking, how does people fall for that? Well, they may make 100 phone calls. They may make 1,000 phone calls. They just need one person that maybe, 2 o'clock in the morning. How many of us are really thinking clearly at 2 o'clock in the morning? You might be just a little addled or whatever it might be. Or if you are suffering from dementia or some other illnesses and stuff. And so, and you're panicking because, oh my gosh, I got to, somebody's hurt, and you wire that money. So they're very good at what they do. And then, people say, well, how do they know the person's name? Well, they're good at this. They're like carnival barkers. They know how to pull that information, or psychics or something, say, hey, grandma, if a woman answers the phone, hey, grandma, this your grandson, I'm in trouble. Well, who's this? Grandma, you don't even know your own grandson? Is this Billy? Yes, grandma, it's Billy. That's all they need. They know how to pull just a nugget of information out to try to do that scam. And I said they may do this 1,000 times over a night. So they're very good at what they do. How else do you think they get information about you and your family and where you're traveling and all that stuff? Yeah, specifically Facebook, the devil's book, as I like to call it. So, and now, unfortunately, we're on Facebook. State Attorney Phil Archer. You can go on our site. I have a public information officer, and he does all my Facebook stuff, and we try to keep stuff up there about scams and so forth. So unfortunately, I have to tell you can go there and get good information, but Facebook is just horrible. I mean, it really is, as far as the information that people put out there. And so, if I could tell you, one tip, it would be, be very careful what you put on Facebook. That has become a gold mine of information for people to use for scams and frauds. And I saw we have some other great speakers, it looks like, on internets and bank frauds and stuff, so I don't want to step on their toes, but the information they're pulling off Facebook. And we put out a newsletter a couple weeks ago, and I'll talk about that in a minute, in which now people are going on and stealing your identity basically from Facebook, taking your photo that you put up there on Facebook, and then sending that, making a fake profile and sending that to all your friends, because they get all your friends list on your Facebook page, and they send that. And so their friends open up, say, oh, it's, John Doe is sending me a Facebook posting, and he wants me to donate to his favorite charity, which is, ABC, which happens, to be a part of a scam. Well, it must be legitimate because there's my friend and his photos right there. Can't be a scam, right? Of course it can be. And that's so Facebook is becoming really, really huge, and that's a problem. I just read an article yesterday that unfortunately, again, last year, Seniors were, again, the number one target number as far as numbers on scams and frauds, and leading the way, and how much money per incident that they lose. And it was interesting because it's something, they said something that I've talked about before. 2 reasons why seniors tend to get scammed more so than anybody else. Anybody know what that one thing is? Well, 2 things, but the first thing is that the first thing that allows people to get into your home, what is it? The phone. Answering the phone, right? Why? Because seniors have been taught early on that you have to answer the phone, right? I mean, it's rude not to answer the phone. I've fought this battle with my mom now, previously with my father before he passed away. If the phone rang, they had to answer it. And that's the first thing that they're counting on, is to get you on that phone, because then they have you. And then the second thing the article said was that not only are past generations taught that it's rude not to answer a phone, it's rude to hang up on people. It's not. It's really not. You can hang up on people. You should hang up on people. You know, that if you would just do those 2 things, stay off Facebook and don't answer the phone. And when I say don't answer the phone, obviously you have to have some way of finding, you know, what's going on, who's calling you, and so forth. Answer machines, screen your calls, you know. And that's a huge thing. If you can screen your calls so that you can wait, and I said I fought this battle with my mom. My mom's funny. She's 93, and she likes answering it because she likes to fight with them. So, but I don't encourage people to do that. But, you know, I told her, don't do that. Just screen your call, but she can't do it. But, you know, she'll say, how would you feel if somebody was ripping off your mother? And she gives them the whole shame speech. Don't do that. I told her, don't engage with these people. And a lot of times what happens is they've found the more, if you answer the phone, you're actually acknowledging that this is a good phone number, there's a live person on the other end, and now, you know, you fall into a higher category. So the best thing is just not answer it, let it go to an answer machine, and then listen to the message, and it takes that pressure off. It really does take some of that pressure off that you have to, you know, immediately go out and do something. It gives you a little, because somebody's jabbering in your ear telling you, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. And I'll just give an example, pharmacy fraud. That one tends to come around here and there, and that's where you get a phone call that says, hey, this is Walgreens or CVS pharmacy. Your prescription's ready, but we have a problem with your account. We need to get some more information, you know, your Medicare numbers and your Social Security and your bank account and all that stuff. And so you're thinking, okay, well, I do have my prescriptions at CVS. I was waiting on a prescription. A lot of us get monthly, you know, prescriptions. And so you give them that information. That has happened quite a bit here, even in Brevard County. And you're thinking, well, how did they know I have CVS prescriptions? They have no idea. They have no idea. And don't tell me, but I bet if I did a survey in here, I'd find that you're either CVS, Walgreens, Publix, or Walmart. I said one of those 4, I bet I could get just about everybody in here, right? And everybody watching on this video. So they know that. And so they'll make 1,000 phone calls and say, this is CVS, and 1,000 for Walgreens, 1,000 for Publix, and 1,000 for Walmart, and just hope that when you answer, you know, they get 1 or 2 people that answer the phone and they have a prescription that's ready to go, and so they give that information. So that's the extent, the deviousness that they go through to try to do some of those scams. One other scam, just real quickly, is on counterfeit checks. That has not gone away. It's gotten worse and worse. And this works in a couple different ways. If you're trying to sell something, on eBay or Facebook, what's the one? Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, that's a big one now. You will get contacted, and let's say you're putting something on for $2,000. And they will contact you and say, hey, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to send you a check. They don't come see you because you're never going to meet them or talk to them. They send you a check for $2,500. And you go, oh my gosh, what's going on? I got $2,500. They will call you up and say, hey, did you get my check? Yeah, but it's for $2,500. I say, well, gosh, it was a mistake. My bookkeeper messed up, my husband, wife, whatever they blame it on. Tell you what, if you'll go down and cash your check, if you'll keep the 2,000 and just wire me back the 500, we'd really appreciate it. You know what? Keep an extra $50 if you'll just wire back the 450. And usually the numbers are bigger, but just for sake of purpose. What happens is when you go to the bank, your bank's going to cash that check for you. I know there's somebody here from bank, so I don't want to insult bank people, but bank's going to cash it. If you're a good customer, they're going to cash your check. They're not going to question you. What happens is it takes a while for that check to work its way through the system. Sometimes it can take 3 or 4 days, could take a week, and take 10 days before it comes back to your bank that it's a counterfeit check. And those checks are so real now, you cannot tell the difference. In fact, I had this scam happen to me, and this was the cashier's check that was sent to me. And it's got watermarks on it. It's from a bank, credit union in California. I checked, the credit union exists. Everything is perfect on this cashier's check, but it's a complete scam. It's a complete fraud. And the bank's not going to know that initially. They may or may not know. They may catch it, but they probably won't. And so the bank's going to come to you and say, you owe us money now. And they're perfectly legal right for them to demand that money because they're just cashing that check for you as a service. So you have to be so careful now. Anytime you get checks, cashier's checks. That's why closings now, real estate closings, they don't take cashier's checks anymore. They've done with cashier's checks. It used to be a cashier's checks were like gold. They were official. Nobody believes them anymore. You can't trust a cashier check, so they don't use them. So anyway, that's a quick frauds. I know I'm coming up on 25 minutes here. I could run through about 18 other scams and frauds, but that kind of just gives you an idea. Again, vigilance is the best thing. If it sounds like a scam, it probably is a scam, and you just got to help your loved ones, help your neighbors, to kind of be a resource and kind of just keep an ear out. If you hear they're heading to the wire money or heading to the bank to take out some money, ask them why. Ask them some questions. And I said again, thanks to Golden Providers and the businesses that are really helping us prevent some of those scams. So anyway, thank you very much. Okay, bye.
Thank you. All right. So, I was in the room as I could see on the video, obviously, and yet I did actually get some reminders of some things that I didn't remember from what he said. So, anyone have any ahas from that presentation? Anything that you hadn't thought about before?
Well, on my end, I put in the chat, I didn't realize the pharmacy was such an easy scam because I know before I joined my company, I think I had Walgreens, I had CVS, I had accounts at all of them. So I think one thing I can bring back to our sales team is say, hey, listen, we really need to let the community know we have our own pharmacies. We own 4 pharmacies in the county, and to let them know if because we deal with so many seniors, if anyone mentions nothing bad against Walgreens or CVS at all, but if anyone on the phone calls, so well, I don't go there. I have my FACP pharmacy I go to. So that was kind of something interesting to me personally.
I'd like to add to that a little bit. We're in the business of protecting people from fraud and exploitation. Oftentimes that's a source of referrals is when people have been exploited. I personally experienced this and I'm vigilant. I know better and I train about it. But I received a phone call at my office from my bank. It clearly stated that Space Coast Credit Union was calling me. They were able to validate most information. I asked them probing questions to try and determine that I was actually speaking with people from my bank. I asked them what branch they were calling from, what the address was. They gave me the main office, told me it was the main office. Like they really validated, and I gave them the information, part of the information that they asked for. They were calling from a fraud prevention department that my card had been misused, and it was true. I got right onto my bank account and I saw that those charges were in fact pending and rejected. So they had an unbelievable amount of information. I asked them for the telephone number and that I would call them right back, that I had an emergency call coming in. And then I called my bank, the real 800 number. So it's so easy to be tricked, and they can manipulate the phone numbers, they can manipulate emails, phishing emails that look like they're authentic, but they're really not. There's no reason why someone couldn't make a phone call saying that they were calling from one of your pharmacies, even though they weren't. But education is absolutely key. And so, whether they ask probing questions or they simply say, I'm going to call back and contact the real number. But educating, our community is really important, to just be super careful, because these are expert criminals.
Yeah. And I've experienced many similar things. Lately, I've had a lot of people on Facebook messaging me, because I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and people messaging me, and I know it is their real profile, but it's also obviously been hacked. And I guess that's where some people are clicking on links that just look weird. And you just really, if you get if it's not crystal clear what that link is leading to, if it's like a bit.ly link or not a clear URL, don't click on it. Because if it's not obvious where it's going, a lot of them will say, they'll imply that it's a video of you. And so most people will fall for that, like, oh, I'm on video, and they'll click it. And you can see that it's too tempting to click. But then if you look closer, you realize that they're setting you up to click it. The link probably somehow compromises your account. And then they basically what they're doing is saying, did you hear about the grant of $50,000? And so I'm assuming that the next step would be to try to get, your information to get you this grant, which is basically identity theft. And it's now that I've recognized it, I've had like 3 or 4 people whose accounts have obviously been compromised chatting with me about this good news about the grant. And it's like almost funny, but but you got to let the people know that they've been compromised, because it means that these people have access to their account as well. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Are there any final announcements that we need to make? So as we wrap up the meeting?
So I'm just going to remind everybody, Helping Seniors Car Raffle, October 9th. Make sure that date's on your calendar, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can get your tickets now at helpingseniors.carraffle.com. Also, the date is adjusted for the Helping Seniors Cruise. It's October 7th, sailing out of Port Canaveral, 7 days on the MSC Divina. It's a fundraiser that helps us support the work of Helping Seniors. And if you book and deposit, you can buy inside all in and get a balcony. So it's a double upgrade.
Wow. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, good seeing you guys. Try to keep in touch with each other during the month between now and the next meeting. I know we have a board meeting between now and then, but again, you should all have each other's contact information in the chat. Save the chat before we close it out if you want to get all that, everyone's cell phone numbers or emails. But thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it. And we'll definitely keep in touch.